around Hollywood, and a lot of the rest is sort of servicing the
Mình ra ngoài
population.
đời mình bóp giờ không cẳng cho Tiên Ngạ về nha. Mình bắt tí bóp lại.
End the little bit of demographic slides that came with the textbook.
Tí vừa bóp chân cho mẹ mà vừa nghe
There are 150 people that are going to be needed to fill those jobs because habits that
Xin lỗi nha, quên. Thầy của Tí nói mà tưởng phim không à.
those jobs, or else we're going to need more in-migration of people with college degrees. So hopefully, it looks like the California economy is doing well. What is the basis of the California economy? High-tech manufacturing, other manufacturing, resource-based, which is resource extraction, so for instance, oil and gas, and also agriculture. Transportation, wholesale trade, professional, technical, and informational services, so things like Google, and tourism and entertainment. So tourism, lots of people come and they visit California, entertainment, Hollywood, specifically in Los Angeles. So California's economy is very diversified. There's the service sector, which is healthcare and education, which is pretty big, but all of these other things. The real engines of the California economy, of course, are high-tech manufacturing, information sciences, computer-based sciences, and entertainment around Hollywood. And a lot of the rest is sort of servicing the population of California. Okay, so let's end the little bit of demographic slides that came with the textbook. One thing we need to note is that for every 100 jobs being created right now, there are 150 people that are going to be needed to fill those jobs, because there's going to be some jobs in which baby boomers are going to retire and leave those jobs open. So for California really to remain competitive, we need a whole lot of in-migration, especially people with college degrees or people that earn college degrees. So we need a lot of people moving here to fill these jobs, and we need a lot of people earning a college education. That's what's going to keep the California economy going over the next few decades. So you should all give yourself a pat on the back for going to college and trying to get your degrees right now. It's making everyone better off. Okay, so we're going to start moving into the images right now, or the graphics, in terms of our discussion of demographics of California. So if you want to start looking at your phones, or looking at a little bit more than the audio file, that would definitely be helpful right now. Okay, so the first few images I'd like to show you involve the distribution of the population of California. So this first one shows the population density. Now, you can think of the red areas in this graphic as being places where people live, and the green areas are more lightly populated, or really don't have that much of a population. So you can see that the population is mostly in the Bay Area into Sacramento. There's a strip of population that runs across the Central Valley, and as you move inland from the Bay Area to Sacramento, the area of the Central Valley north of that is referred to as the Sacramento River Basin, the Sacramento Valley, and the area south of Sacramento, as you move inland from the Bay Area, is usually referred to as the San Joaquin Valley. So the Central Valley is basically where I'm putting the mouse on the computer right now, and the San Joaquin Valley is like right here from Bakersfield northward, and the Sacramento Valley is essentially from Sacramento northward. Now, there's a strip of population that runs in the cities down there: Merced, Modesto, Stockton, Sacramento, all the way down to Bakersfield at its southern end. And then we have Southern California. And there are a few cities that have the coast outside of the Bay Area and outside of Southern California, like Santa Barbara or Monterey, but generally the Bay Area, the Central Valley, and Southern California have most of the population. Now in Southern California, there's of course Los Angeles, but there's also Ventura County with Malibu, Orange County is highly populated. San Diego is highly populated, and the eastern portions of Riverside and San Bernardino County are also highly populated. Los Angeles County is mostly populated, but it's less populated in its northern half. So this is where the people live. The people live hugging the coast around Los Angeles to San Diego, inland to maybe Palm Springs, out to like Malibu. In Southern California, people live on the strip that has a lot of cities in the Central Valley, from Bakersfield up all the way north to Chico, and especially Sacramento being the largest city there, and then people live in the Bay Area. The entire Bay Area, including the East Bay, San Jose, San Mateo, Marin, Sonoma, Napa. And as you move outside that area, there's less and less population. So this is where Californians live. Because California, even though it's a huge state, there's a lot of desert, and there's also a lot of mountainous areas where people can't necessarily live. We expect that most of the population growth that's going to occur in California is going to be also in Southern California, and also in the Central Valley, because the Central Valley still has a lot of flat land on which people can build, where more housing can be developed as more people move in. Now, the Bay Area, for instance, might have some population growth, but we're not projecting that much population growth because there's not much more land to build on in the Bay Area. We can build up, but we can't really develop any more areas unless we start taking from the hills or things like that. There's some places that can be built on in Southern California, but even Southern California is fairly dense in terms of its population right now. Okay. The first map I'd like to show you after this one is to get you a sense of the population density of California. So this is a map actually of the 2008 presidential election results, but what I actually want to show you on this map is the various population sizes of the various regions of California. Because once you start to adjust things for population, boy, it's the Bay Area, Sacramento, and Southern California that has most of the population. And you can see a lot of other areas across the state, like Kern County, which has Bakersfield, the Inland Empire area, rural Northern California, Shasta County. I mean, there's virtually very few people living there as compared to the Bay Area, Southern California, and Sacramento. So those three regions contain most of the state's population here. You could tell almost half the state's population, probably 45% of it alone, is in those few big counties in Southern California. Probably another large bit, probably a third of the population is in the Bay Area, including maybe Santa Cruz and San Jose up into the North Bay. So it's really, a little bit of population in the Central Valley, along with the Bay Area and Los Angeles, along with the rest of Southern California, that houses most of the population. I would invite you to look at these maps, to download the slides too if you're more interested. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk about is to get a sense of the history of California. Is really to look at the size of the Hispanic and Latino population, because this has been the big shift in California politics within the last 40 years. If we go back to 1970 or 1972, there really is not a very large Hispanic or Latino population in California. So this is the population by racial group in thousands. And you can see that for most of the recent history of California, the vast majority of the population was white individuals, and that's one of the reasons why California politics was so competitive, because of the large white or Anglo population from the 1950s through to the 1990s. But starting around the year 2000, the Hispanic or Latino population got up to beginning to rival the size of the white population, and around 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, the number of individuals that identified as Hispanic Latino surpassed the number of individuals that have identified as white. So if you look at this image right here, this image ends around 2008, 2009, but the blue line eventually overtook the red line in more recent years. Here is one of the images from your textbook, and it's projecting that population growth into the future. So essentially what we're going to see is every decade an increase of about 2 or 3% of the size of the Hispanic or Latino population, and maybe a percentage more increase in the Asian American population. Now, these projections are not always correct. We've actually had a decline in the growth rate of the Hispanic and Latino population because a lot fewer people are immigrating from Latin America right now because they're afraid that if they immigrate here, Trump will do bad things to them. So that has stymied some of the increase in the population California was having that was fueling our economy within the last few years. So these projections here might be off if fewer people find California and the United States in general as being more appealing. You can also see that the white population is projected to decline by about 2 percentage points every decade in California. This image also has where we are projecting that population will grow in California. It will grow essentially more inland from Los Angeles, including Rio County, which is just inland from San Diego County. It'll grow in County and Bakersfield, and then up and down the Central Valley right here. So we're projecting that most of the population growth will come in the Central Valley. We think the coasts right now have a little bit, they've hit close to their maximum population that can be held. Okay, let's talk about the Bay Area. So here's actually the racial breakdown by the counties in the Bay Area. In terms of the Bay Area, by far the North Bay, especially the northwestern part of the Bay Area, Marin County, Sonoma County, Napa County, they tend to be the most white and the most higher income areas. Although there is a sizable Hispanic Latino population in Napa, Napa County. San Francisco and San Mateo also have higher incomes and have a larger white population, but they have a bit more racial diversity in terms of Asian American population and Hispanic Latino population. If you want to talk about San Francisco specifically, San Francisco's actually much more of an Asian American city than it is a gay and lesbian city, which is what it's stereotyped as. Roughly 34% of San Francisco is Asian American, but probably only 20 to 25% of San Francisco is LGBTQ. Why is San Francisco associated so much more with gays and lesbians than it is with Asian Americans? Well, it's associated more with gays and lesbians because most of the Asian Americans live in areas like Sunset and Richmond, which are further from downtown. And the gay and lesbian populations are closer to the northeastern quadrant of the city, and the central part of the city is more visible. Also, the LGBTQ population in San Francisco is much more native, and much more seen with images of the city than the Asian American population, which is living in the Richmond areas, the Sunset areas, that are a little less integrated with what's going on downtown or with the landmarks, that kind of stuff. So San Francisco, in terms of its demographics, is actually an Asian American city. It's less of a gay and lesbian city than most people would guess. That's one of the reasons why we've had Asian American mayors in San Francisco, but there hasn't really been a gay or lesbian mayor in San Francisco. What about the East Bay? Well, Alameda County is one of the most diverse counties, one of the most diverse large counties in the United States. You can see it's 33% white. It's 33% white, about 28% Asian American, and about 23% Hispanic Latino. So it's a plurality county, just like California is a plurality. Its demographics are actually fairly close to demographics of California, except there are more Asian Americans living in it. Now, Alameda County also has the anchor of the African American population in the Bay Area, which is Oakland.